Bam! Right in your mouth. This is Josh Abrams, aka Prop Josh.
And this is Angela, aka Tiffany's Rain.
And this is our podcast. We're going to do a review for Straight Outta Compton. So, what'd you think about the movie?
I thought it was pretty good. I didn't know it was going to be mostly a biography of Eazy-E, aka Eric Wright. But I enjoyed it for all it was. Very fast-paced for a 3-hour movie.
Yeah. They had to cover a lot and skip a lot, apparently. If they went through every single thing, it would probably been like 4 or 5 hours.
I guess that'd be a weird movie to break into a trilogy.
I know. Oh, this will have spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, or if you, well, I mean, it couldn't be that spoiled because it happened already.
If you just climbed out from underneath a rock and for some reason you saw this movie and you thought you'd like to go see it as your first movie ever,
there might be some people who are going to be like, hey, what's this Straight Outta Compton? What is this? What's this about? And there's some people who never heard of these guys, probably.
But why would they want to go see this movie then? This fictionalized account of their lives.
Yeah, well, I liked the movie a lot. I thought it was like, it was one of my favorite movies this summer. Surprising enough, I was like really
not that
enjoyed
surprising.
It.
What number did you put it at for your top grossing movies of 2015?
I think I put it somewhere around 12 or. I mean, but that's for like for how much money it'll make, not for like what movies I think I'm gonna like.
Yeah, exactly.
For me, I put it up like in the top 5, I think, or maybe at least the top 10. I knew I was gonna like it a lot, and I'm glad. I haven't seen a movie like this in a while, and I'm a sucker for movies like this. There's two type of movies I like a lot: comic book movies I'll go out and buy, and rap biographies.
So if they did, let's see, your perfect movie would be a superhero who was also a rapper,
probably,
and was doing just covering the span of his life.
Pretty much
from first record to
because I own 8 Mile, that 50 Cent movie, I know, the Dodge Trine, that's it. I even own that Outkast movie, Outer Wild. I got Notorious. All those movies. I have not yet to seen the TLC one. I do want to see that one whenever that's released. And I heard the Leo one was bad, so I'm not watching that. But I will definitely buy this one on Blu-ray. I like this one a lot.
So what you like about it?
Well, it showed me stuff I didn't know. Because, like, definitely hitting my generation. Maybe a little older than my generation. Because I know there's going to be a lot of people way younger than me who probably don't know any of this stuff, so this is going to be brand new for them. But for me, I start knowing some of the stuff they were talking about once they got into the 90s, because that's when I really started listening to hip-hop, especially them.
Well, that's when you were a teen. Before that, you were
I was a child.
Kind of weird if an 8-year-old was all.
Yeah. I mean, I did started listening to rap when I was 8, but, well, not that much. Only what my parents let me listen to. They let me listen to Fresh Prince at the time.
This is a preacher's kid we're talking about.
Yeah, so I didn't listen to that hardcore. I didn't listen to the NWA. I did listen to Dr. Dre, and I did listen to Ice Cube when they broke away from the group. I did listen to them because by that time I was definitely into hip hop during that time. So I'm glad I got to learn what happened and stuff, and learned about Eazy-E because I didn't really know much about Eazy-E. I knew a little bit about him, so I'm glad, and I felt like the guy that played him did a really good job. I felt like I was went back in time and was watching him in person or something, and I thought all the actors did pretty good portraying who they were supposed to be,
and their rap personas, that because they didn't have to just act, they had to rap like that rapper.
Oh yeah.
That'd have been challenging.
Yeah. Now, of course, it probably was best and easiest for Outta O'Shea Jackson Jr., who is playing his father, Ice Cube, because he lives with the man, or probably used to. I don't think he's living with him now, but he raised him, so of course you're like mimicking your father, and of course you probably would sound like your father, and obviously he looks like him. Only thing was, like, the guy that played Dr. Dre, I felt like he looked a little young. He looked, because like even the part where Dre is older, and you could tell that part where he's like leaving Death Row Records and stuff. He's supposed to be older, and he still looked pretty young, but he did a good job as Dre. I didn't know Dre was kind of not that hardcore, but like he seemed like he had his head on straight. Like,
you didn't know Dre had his head on straight?
I mean, yeah, I knew he had his head on straight, but it was like he was definitely, like, with his friends and stuff, he was the one not doing too much stuff. He wasn't too crazy unless, like, his brother got into something. That's the only time he jumped in. Most of the time he had a job and stuff, and he was just, it was like, if he wasn't going to be a rapper, he was going to be successful some other kind of way. That's the vibes I got from him.
And that was surprising.
No, it shouldn't have been too surprising. I mean...
Okay.
I don't know.
I thought that Dr. Dre fool was just some thug off the street. He just stumbled into success. He just had a talent. He just stumbled into success. He owns a $1 billion company.
Yeah, he is one of the richest men. So
you think he'd have some sort of business and or sense even before that.
Yeah, he makes smart decisions, and I knew that.
But you were surprised.
No, I guess I wasn't that surprised. That
he wasn't like squeaky clean around.
No, of course not. No, I didn't think that, but I don't know. I thought it was good though, to see how he was when he was younger before he got famous.
It was kind of fun because unlike most biographies that I watched, this one, like the big events, I knew what they were, and I'd seen them from like a distance, news, television, interviews. So it was different seeing it from their perspective as a story. As far as listening to their music, I as a very young child, I listened to, well, the people around me listened to NWA. So that was familiar. And ironically, I said, like you, where you got into them in the 90s, that's when I stopped listening to them, when they broke away from that. So I don't know very much about Ice Cube and Dr. Dre's work in that period when he first joined with Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
But like a little bit after that, I know more about Dr. Dre, less about Ice Cube. It's like after NWA, I don't know that much about Ice Cube's work.
Oh.
So I guess that's kind of weird.
Well, you did watch like Boys in the Hood and stuff, right?
Yeah. I'm just talking about as far as his music.
Yeah.
When he became a movie actor, I watched most of his movies and stuff, but I didn't listen to his music to the point where when he was getting into the movie business, I thought of him as an actor rather than a rapper. It's like, because I hardly saw any of that.
Oh.
It's like, for me, he hadn't rapped in a long time, even though he was still putting out albums, because I wasn't listening to it.
Oh. See, for me, when he did like Boys in the Hood, I was thinking of him as like, he's rapping and acting, like he's doing both. Like, because I was thinking of him more as a rapper at that time. Oh, yeah. What'd you think about the villain of this movie?
Which one? There was two villains. There was the sneaky, behind-the-scenes villain, then there was the in-your-face, obvious, actually rubbing his hands together villain.
Yeah. So, Suge Knight is one of the main villains of this movie. The other one was their manager, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry. With Jerry, it felt personal when he hurt them, and you could see the relationship between him and Eazy-E. They seemed like they were pretty tight, like, because Eazy, he's like almost like yelling at the other guys, like, "Hey guys," just kind of. But then when he's talking to Jerry, it's like just one-on-one, sitting down, heart to heart kind of thing. It's like you could tell that Easy trusted him, and then when he find that Jerry did him wrong, he's like, you could tell he's really hurt by him and stuff. It's like, no man, I'm done with you. Like, that's it. And it was like, it was kind of emotional how they kind of part ways right there, but understandable because, you know, Jerry was doing this stuff. Like, I didn't even want to believe it when I was watching. I was like, no, not Jerry.
Okay.
But Suge Knight, oh my goodness. I was like, all the scenes they got with Suge Knight, I was like, okay, they probably didn't get his permission when he was talking about this. But they can't because he's in jail now anyway. So.
Like they feel free to express how they really feel about him.
Yeah. It's like, dude was crazy. Just from the moment you see him, it's like, oh, you don't want to trust this dude.
He's always bug-eyed and got his eyes wild, and he's just, okay.
Like, he's definitely up to no good. It's like, it made you wonder, why did Dre join him in the first place at one point, you know, when he's all joining Death Row Records, when I'm like,
well, they was trying to show that it was manipulating his fear because of what happened to one of the members of Dre's group.
Yeah.
With that quote unquote accident.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just wild. Death Row Records was wild. It was like, because they was at one point saying like, this is supposed to be a music business. We're supposed to fight with lawyers. Like, no, he's a thug. This is like a gang. Like, yeah,
it's the mafia with music.
Pretty much. I wonder if this was the inspiration for Empire.
Okay. No, they don't do it like that on Empire. They barely even have rappers on there.
Oh yeah.
What did you think about the rap part? Them portraying the rap part?
Like, just showing them how they got started and stuff, or just like
yeah, like the way they got into the business.
Oh, I like that a lot. It was fun seeing that. It was fun seeing how they got Eazy-E to start rapping and stuff. That was hilarious. And then like how they just kind of slowly built up. Because I know some movies, the next day they're at a concert and they're famous, and it didn't feel like that with this. It was a gradual thing. You can tell, like, even when they met their manager, they still weren't necessarily famous, and that's usually how it be. I know some movies, they like to skip that. Like, hey, let's just get to the part where they're famous already.
Actually, they used the fame part as conflict because Ice Cube didn't feel like he was getting his fair share, and he left, and then he made his record, and it was bigger than theirs. It was bigger than anybody's at Ruthless Records, and they were jealous, and they decided to retaliate through writing a diss track against. So they made it kind of a rivalry. They made the fame part of a rivalry instead of all cookies and cream.
Yeah, that tends to happen a lot with rap artists and stuff. And I'm glad they showed that. I thought they was going to show how Eazy-E and Dr. Dre kind of bumped heads. They kind of didn't show that too much. Like, it was a little bit, but it's like, I remember hearing some songs where Dre really was upset with Eazy-E, and they didn't really emphasize that too much. It was just a
rosier picture of their relationship than would have actually been.
Yeah.
It felt a little rosy.
Oh, yeah. Because they're trying to keep them like they were close. And, of course we know they close, or were close. But, yeah, it was like, you didn't really see Dre get really upset at Eazy-E. You know, he only got upset like, Suge Knight, that whole scene.
When his brother died.
Yeah, when his brother died. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, too. Because I knew that was coming, too, if you know anything about Dr. Dre. It's like you knew he had a brother and his brother died, so I was like, uh-oh, because they showed how close him and his brother were, and I was like, oh no. His brother was a cool character too.
What about the political nature?
Oh, we're talking about with Ice Cube song, or
I'm talking about just how they like tackle racial issues.
Oh, and like with the cops and stuff.
FBI.
Oh, yeah.
And the media portrayal and all those interviews.
Yeah. This was one of those things where, oh my goodness, I felt like this. I was watching it like I was part of it, right? And I was like, don't do it, but I would do that. Because I'm like, no, don't do this. Don't say that. You know, when the cops tell them not to sing that song, and I'm like, yeah, guys, don't sing it. But I'm thinking in the back of my mind, do it. And I'm thinking like, I probably would have done that too. Because I'm like, nobody gonna shut me up, kind of thing. And I understood. It's like, yeah, stand up for yourself. You know, I was glad they did that. They make the cops look really bad, but that's, you know, interesting because. Yeah, they show that whole Rodney King thing. I remember that. I was a child, and I remember that whole. I remember because like when we was watching that part, and it was like, and it started the LA riots. They don't have to say it was the LA riots, but it was obvious there were LA riots and stuff when Rodney King, when those cops got freed. I was just like, huh, that was 20 years ago, and nothing's changed. So why do we still get upset when that happens? But you know, that's. And I love the fact that they said this about rap music because they kept saying they were glamorizing violence, gang violence, and all that stuff, and they weren't. And I'm like, I agreed with them. They weren't. They were just telling it what happened. They was telling you what happened, and that's what I get really upset about to this day with folks that don't listen to rap. They just see it. They see it. They don't listen. They see it. And they be thinking like, oh, they're glamorizing that violence. They're telling you to go shoot the police. Like, no, they're not. They're just saying what is happening. Like, you know, if you say in a rap lyric, like, you know, this cop threw me on the ground, you're not saying throw that cop on the ground. And they're just saying F the police. Like,
they didn't just say it.
Well, yeah, I know. They said a lot more.
They would show the parts where they actually did say.
Yeah, and then like and the police felt annoying. Like anytime the cops were there on the scene, I was like, "Come on, man, keep driving!" Like y'all.
Every time they walked out on the street, I'm like, "Y'all get back inside. You know what's gonna happen."
Exactly, that's what I felt like.
Some kind of black radar.
Like, here we go. I know.
Like in their car, they had a little radar screen. Like black people outside.
I know.
Like, how did they know?
Oh, man, I know. They just have to be circling, and it's like, they were just a pain.
So, would you recommend this movie to others?
Well,
I guess I should ask, who would you recommend this movie to?
Exactly. Because when I was watching this movie, and I was like, yeah, we're going to talk about it. I said, I'm thinking to myself, you're probably the only person I can probably talk to about this movie.
What?
Because
you can talk to about your friends.
My friends who
like
are
7:30 and
my friend 7:30. I could talk to him about. I was gonna say anybody that's our age range and our race, because like
you have to be very specific.
Well, I recommend some movies for a lot of people, but I know like it's definitely for people around our age. They definitely would get, or older. Like if you're in your 40s, if you're a 40-year-old black man,
you would love to watch this movie.
Oh yeah, you will love it. You're gonna be like, I remember all that. The younger generation, yeah, they can watch that.
And it's not just about rap music. It's about the lives of these people.
Yeah, definitely.
And how they use music to speak out about their situation and to move away from it.
Right, exactly. And it's like, I thought about all those people who hate rap, and I was like, man, I mean, not like they would go out and watch this movie, but like, cause that one scene where someone was like, they're artists, like, how are they artists? Rap is not an art, and I'm like, oh.
This is a black cop saying this.
Right. Oh, black cops are the worst. That's why they had him being the worst one. I was like, I'm glad they showed that.
There's no such thing as a black cop. All their skin is blue.
Yep, they're all blue. There's some comedy in this movie. It's not just drama.
Well, don't spoil the comedy.
I'm not going to spoil it, even though even though we're doing some spoilers. So even if this is a spoilers, there's one scene that's going to have everybody laughing. You already know what I'm talking about. That scene. Mm-hmm. That was so funny. It's a little graphic. So, you know, can't have no kids in there watching that scene.
You mean like the two women who had their child in there that we heard through every scene?
Yes.
It's a baby.
Well, you know,
shattering.
You know it's gonna happen, folks. You know, some folks can be a little ghetto. They're gonna bring their babies and their little kids in. Mommy, what are they doing?
Well, they did bring it to a matinee. So
yeah, that was better. So at least they did that. You know, so because you know, I'm no babysitter, I understand. But yeah. That one scene was pretty graphic, so but it was hilarious, and then like of course like just the relationship with the guys, with their team, with their group, It was great. You could tell they were a family. You know, they were just joking around. Like that part when they got arrested because they sang the song anyway at the concert, and they were all in the back of the police van. They're all high fiving each other
with their hands cuffed behind them.
I was cracking up
because when the police were throwing them on the ground, putting the handcuffs on them, and throwing them in the back of the van, they were like, "Yo, you can't do this. You better get off me, get off me." And then they get in the van, they're like, "Yeah."
I love that scene, and that's why. And it did feel kind of hurt that they were when they start breaking up and stuff. It's like, oh man, because these guys were like brothers and stuff. You can tell, like they were real close. And like when Ice Cube's the first to leave, and it's like, oh man, come on, man, because he was more harder than Dre about leaving. Dre was like he wasn't sure, and Ice Cube was like, I'm gone. It's like forget this, and Eazy-E, it was like he was. I don't know.
He got sad for me.
Yeah. It was sad. I was like, man, he seemed like he was like a really good guy, even though he was a thug. But he seemed like a really good guy. Would you recommend this movie to people?
To people, sure. It's a graphic movie that portrays sex, violence, and drugs. You don't see much drug taking besides weed for the main characters, but it's in there. So if you feel any portrayal of that is glamorizing it, don't watch it.
Right.
Even though I'm sure you watch, I mean, I don't know, it's like somebody can go watch a mafia movie and have the same exact content and then see a movie, you know, that feature black people and rap music and then it's evil and
exactly.
That's strange to me. But
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
If you can have an open mind about a lifestyle that's not exactly like yours, go see it.
I gotta say, I think I like this movie more than 8 Mile, and well, yeah, definitely more than 8 Mile. I liked 8 Mile, but I like this movie more than 8 Mile. I liked it more than Notorious. I know you didn't see Notorious, did you?
I didn't like the look of the trailer.
Oh, because
I saw the trailer to this, I was like, yeah.
Because this movie was very similar. Well, it was similar to Notorious. Notorious was more on the East Coast side, and it was a little after, kind of overlaps, but after because Tupac's in both, and Suge Knight's in both. So
was he the evil villain in that one?
He's kind of a side villain type thing.
He can only be the villain.
He's always the villain in any movie. If it's about a rapper in the 90s, you'll see Suge Knight there being evil.
In the background, evil.
In the back, planning stuff. But yeah, I like this more than those movies. And,
what didn't you like about them compared to this one? What did this one have?
With 8 Mile, you could tell Eminem was not really. He's kind of not showing too much because he changed the name, so it wasn't really.
It was barely his life story.
Yeah, and it wasn't about how I'm getting famous.
It was inspired by his life story.
Yeah, and it was just about him getting over his fear of like rapping in like a type situation. I don't know. It's kind of showing his life a little bit. It didn't really show. It wasn't a biopic at all with 8 Mile, but it was still a good movie. Notorious was a biopic, but what made Outta Compton better is like the relationships, like I was saying, and the like. You definitely felt like you liked these guys a lot, like you wanted to hang out with them. Whereas Notorious, it was just like, yeah, you saw this on TV. You saw how Notorious Big was on TV. Now you see it on a movie screen, kind of thing. So that what I thought was the difference, but it was interesting in both. Definitely better than Die Trying. I can barely remember that movie. Sorry, 50 Cent.
All I know about Die Trying is that it is a movie. That's all I got for you.
I'll ask you this: who would you like to see? Like anybody, living or dead or whenever, who would you like to see a story about, a biopic about?
I'm waiting for Oprah Winfrey's story, and I need her to tell it all. She got the studio ready.
Yeah.
She's just looking for the right actress, I think.
She will eventually.
What about you?
I would like to see an Outkast movie. I mean, not Idlewild Outkast. I mean, like their how they got started and stuff, what they went through. It's probably not that violent or anything.
Oh, do you need it to be violent?
No.
Okay.
It seems like that's what makes it interesting. Like, oh no, they're running from the police. Oh, let's get people shooting.
I'm not really into movies that have a lot of violence and shooting, because it's just like, I'm just not into that. Not the way it's portrayed. Like, it feels a little too real to me, and so.
Oh.
Like, you have a Western with a gunfight, or you have an action movie where they're just shooting guns, it don't feel real. But then movies like this, where it's set in a place that feels like I've been before, I don't like to see that. It feels like a war movie, and I get all, like,
Yeah. It wasn't too violent with this movie, but it just made it more interesting. I mean, not the violence made it more interesting, just that it was an interesting movie.
I feel like you're saying the violence is what drew you.
No, I'm trying. That's why I'm trying to say that it's not that.
Because you brought it up.
I'm just saying, Outcast, this movie it would be more drama, but I would like to see that.
As far as music artists, I don't think I have anyone that I'm like just clawing to see. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like because I don't know enough of the story. Maybe it was presented to me. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know I would like to have seen this movie.
Yeah.
Like, if you told me a fictionalized account of Ice Cube and Dr. Dre's life, I'd be like, that's okay.
Oh, wait, Tupac. Well, I don't know. It's kind of see a little bit of it in these two movies. But, I don't know. You'll see his years at Juilliard and
that's poetry and then all the violence and drugs.
Yeah, exactly.
And drugs. You get a little bit of both.
Yeah,
the drama.
Get a little,
you get the literal drama, and then you get the violence. And then you, like, at the end, you see that he's not really dead. You see where he's been living all these years.
Exactly.
You see that the whole time that he wrote this movie, like the end, was typing at the end of it.
That's how he's gonna reveal that he's still alive.
That's the perfect way to reveal it. Go ahead, Tupac.
Oh, one thing that about this, little fact or whatever, pointless fact, I guess, or coincidence or whatever. Like, in Notorious, they had Biggie's son played him as a kid, and yeah, Ice Cube's son played him in this movie. I thought that was,
even though with the weirdness that I felt with his son portraying Ice Cube, and then when he meets his wife, and then it's like, well, you're portraying your father meeting your mother, so you're kind of portraying being with your mother, and it's weird. It's weird. It was weird for me.
We had different opinions about that, because I thought it would have been more weird that he's like playing the part with his father's single and hooking up with all these girls.
You didn't see him hook up with that, like, just girl. You didn't see that.
Well, yeah, that's true. He just had, because it wasn't like nothing too bad with his mom or whatever, his wife. It was just kind of just they just had their family
just
together.
Sitting close together was weird for me. It's just like, okay.
Because it's like, if I had
I'm probably the only one that's ever going to think about it.
If I had to play my dad in a movie,
and then you're going to portray meeting the woman who is your mother,
right?
So you're portraying meeting your mother and being in love with her and marrying
but it'd
your
be like
mother,
an actress. Then you
who looks like your mother.
Oh,
because they on purpose went out and got people who look like these people.
That's true. Well, because younger version of his mom, so it's I didn't know it was younger. That's fine. I'm just saying, like, I don't think that I don't know. I didn't think that was too weird. I thought it was just, he's just acting it, and it's just like,
just acting like you're with your mother.
He didn't have to do no kissing scene, so it'd be like he's kissing his mom.
I noticed they didn't have no kissing scene. I thought about
it. Now you have to kiss her. So I'm kissing the lady who's acting. I've kissed this actress who is portraying my mom.
A person who is that you know, and not only know, but gave birth to you.
Oh, that is kind of funny. But yeah, I'm gonna buy this movie. This is a good movie. I recommend it. I give it a thumb up. One of the best movies I saw this. Well, 2 thumbs up from both of my hands.
Wait, I don't do thumbs. Give it the ratings. Do it on the Josh rating scale.
Josh rating scale.
That was the Josh rating scale. You'll buy it.
Yeah. That's my rating scale. Okay,
you'll buy it full price.
I will buy it at full price. This is my rating scale.
Oh boy, that's a full recommendation from Josh there.
Yes, because I really enjoyed it. After like the first 5 minutes, and I was like, this year's Guardians of the Galaxy for me.
Wow.
Because Guardians, after 5 minutes in, I was like, I'm buying this movie. And that's how I felt when I watched this movie. I was like, oh, I'm buying this movie. This should, I can get the feel. You can get the feel of a movie from the first 5 minutes of it, I think. It's like, first 5 minutes in, you're just like, okay, this is, all right, I like this. This is how it's going to be, unless it just turns. And there's very few movies that just do that just turn randomly. And those, I stop. I don't buy them if they just turn like that.
So what did you think about meeting Ice Cube? Josh got to meet Ice Cube and talk to him, though not about the movie, because he didn't know anything about the movie at the time he met him earlier this year.
Yeah, I met Ice Cube and Dr. Dre at the same time. They were promoting this movie and at my theater, and I was helping them. I was giving them snacks, providing them with snacks and stuff, with hot dogs and
hot dogs. Really?
Yeah, they eat hot dogs. They like hot dogs. I can tell you that. Ice Cube likes mustard on his hot dog. Dre likes quite a bit on his hot dog. I can't remember exactly what Dre liked because I had to go back and ask him, and I didn't know how to refer to him, and he looked at me like, he started laughing because he knew what I was thinking, and I was thinking, I don't know what to call you.
Mr. Dr. Dre.
But I could definitely say, meeting them in person, you can tell they OGs. Dre's quiet. He didn't really speak too much. But he'll speak to you, because he spoke to me, like, as soon as I saw him, he spoke. He was like, what's up? Like, really quick. Ice Cube, though, he's very talkative, very friendly guy. Everybody, like, even Mrs. Phillips said that when she met him, that he was very...
No one knows who Mrs. Phillips is.
Okay.
I'm not sure why you brought that up.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Even 730's mama.
Okay, just keep going with it. Okay.
All right,
Got it.
Cut it. All right. And anyway, anybody that's ever met him can say that he's a very nice guy. He's very talkative. He'll engage in conversation with you and stuff, and that's what he did. So, I wasn't nervous meeting him. He just, really made you feel comfortable.
Is he the same in life as he is on the screen?
Pretty much.
In your ear?
Yeah. In your ear, he's like hardcore, rapping. I remember seeing him in videos and stuff, and even seeing him on Boys in the Hood when I was little. I was like, man, I would never want to meet that guy. He seems like he's mean. Then actually meeting him, I was like, no, he's a really nice guy.
So I guess that's our review of Straight Outta
Compton.
I'm gonna keep that in there just like that, with that big awkward pause where you refuse to meet me halfway and finish it.
Oh, I thought you wanted me to come up with a different city. Let's do it again.
You want to do a different city? We're doing a review of this movie.
Yeah. Straight Outta Compton. Straight Outta, yeah.
So this was a review of Straight Outta
Compton.
That was still awkward. Thank you.